Hey everybody, it's Professor Diffley again. This is History 103, Module 3. This is lecture video 4. We left off last time in ancient Egypt. In ancient Egypt. Now we're going to the Indus River Valley civilization and what is modern day Pakistan and India. And so now we're moving further to the east here, right? We started in Mesopotamia and Egypt. Now we're moving further. And you can see to the east. We can see a map here of where this was the Indus Valley, based on why is it called that, the Indus River there. You can see again, they were trading with Mesopotamia. And these are where these cities are going to show up. So this is the first civilization we know of in what is now this area of India, Pakistan region. And you can see on the globe down here. Again, this is from your text there. There's more in the notes on this. Again, you can see the urban civilizations that we know about there. So, overview of this. Again, there's a great lecture. A great required video from Crash Course on this. There's also another really good one, Indus Valley 101, which is a nice shorter one that does a really good job overview of this. So make sure to read those, watch those. Sometimes you'll see it, and this happens in some of the videos. It's called Harappan culture or civilization. Why the city of Harappa in the Indus River Valley was the first one uncovered. And so that's what it named, but now we call it the Indus River Valley. Why? Because we realized that there was more settlements there. And so it started in about 1300 BCE. This is it's going to, throughout the large Indus River Valley, this river system had a larger drainage basin than any of the others. So much more water here. So it really does cover much more area, land area, than the other civilizations we've looked at there. We don't know a lot about them other than through archaeology because their writing has never been deciphered. And so that's a problem, so can't really understand it. So there's no idea of their political history. But one thing that's striking is that all the cities in here must have been connected. At least that's the belief. Why? Because they all have the same layout, even use the same size bricks. No joke, their bricks are all uniform size. It's like they were mass produced on a large scale area. The cities are arranged and built in the same patterns, the same, very similar layouts, so that, again, remember I said a lot of the archaeology and prehistoric, and even here where there is writing, we just can't understand it because it's not related to the modern writing in the area. What becomes Sanskrit afterwards, we can only know so much, but what we assume, or what we can, our analysis of this can say is that, well, if they have uniform bricks, their cities are laid out in the same ways, same formats, that sort of thing, there must have been some sort of unification, or at least central planning maybe, or something. You could see that more in the videos there. They did have fortified cities, so we do know there's warfare. So maybe they started out unified and then fought each other, or maybe there was another group that they're fighting from the outside as well. Don't know. But they did have lots of long-distance trade. And here's the other major city is Mohenjo, and this is some of the excavated rooms. This is just one small part of the city, and this is even thought to be like just one complex here. And this was like a sort of religious complex. It doesn't even go into how big it is there. And others. Again, it's the banks of the Ravi River and the Indus River. The Ravi River is one of the ones coming off it. Urban culture, again, fertile soils. And that, again, boasted a lot of advantages. Predictable flooding from Himalaya mountain snow runoff, right? So that's where the water comes from. As it warms up in the Himalayas, the water runs down into the valleys there. We're going to see in the Ganges River plain, which there are people, but it's going to be longer for civilizations. You're going to have monsoons, torrential monsoons, rainstorms that could last months, sort of thing. It's going to be harder to grow civilizations there. They're going to come later. You're going to have, again, specialization, just like you have in other places. There's going to be a lot of similarity in there. We can see here, this is a map showing early agricultural sites. The circles, unfilled in are the cities, and it shows you where the major cities are today, all right? The black circles, like Delhi here, Jaipur, Lahore, all of that. And, so one other thing here, though, is this is a very wet area. There's lots of these rivers do flood, and eventually this civilization, dies out. We're not sure what happened. Maybe they were taken over by the next groups we're going to see. These Aryan people coming down from the steppes, and Aryan doesn't mean, don't think Nazis, that everybody always asks that. No, it's much different. But here you're going to have these mudslides and these, that are going to cover this. So, and also things, remember, in wetter climates, things don't preserve as well. So it is very possible there are more cities under there that have just not been excavated. Why? Because there's so much, soil on top of them. But this is what we do know here. And you're even going to have, large trade down here and these, gulfs here. So this is, then you can see all the rivers running through here. The Indus River, and then you can see the Ravi River up here branching off from it there. So overview of one of the cities. Just give you an idea, right? This is a well in Mohenjo-daro. This has been excavated down, right? This would, people would have been, the dirt's been, taken away, but this would have been the top of the well up there. Again, the Great Bath. You can see this, they had streets like this with large walls and alleyways. There, it really is impressive construction. This is called the granary, but no one thinks it's a granary anymore. That's what they originally called in the beginning, but you could read the notes on that and more, and some just their art. Again, they, and we talked about this, the flooding and all that, the predictable. City life, same general pattern, even bricks were uniform, uniform weights and measures in all these places with a citadel, right? A citadel is sort of defensive, fortified position, all in the same place. These, in the city, you're going to have houses for notables, city walls, drainage systems. You have a sewer system essentially in this, in these cities. It's, indoor bathrooms, even showers, which, running water. Don't think of a shower today, but they were able to pipe in water from their underground things to be able to use them in there. It's not a modern toilet, but they weren't just, going in a pot and dumping it in the street. There really were seemingly municipal sewer systems. Really impressive civilization here. Look at this, a drain. In the, it's disposed of rainwater and sewage. I mean, all built out of brick. Look at the, that's sort of the sewer system. Things would drain in here and then be carried out from there. And you can see some. This one I want to show you. These are cubical graduated weights here, and they are found all over this area. All the same sizes, same weights. And again, you could look at the notes in here. This is talked about in there. And it's even mentioned in the video, but this is, seems like there's a centralized system, right? Think about this. Next time if you go to a gas station, look at the pump, there's like a division of weights and measures for the government, right? Making sure that the gas pumps are all, measuring how many gallons of gas go in, at a time, flow through the hose. Everybody's using the same measurement so that it's fair and things like that. It seems like they were doing this as well. And again, like I said, buried deep under silt deposits. Persistent flooding there. Large symbolic script, 400 symbol. No idea what it means. Maybe a language, may not. Who knows? But yeah, so we don't know its political history, things like that. So you can take a look there. All right, so let's go over to one of the other ones here. Now let's move further east. This one, there is not really a great video on this because this is the older, before you have the Chinese dynasties here. But the river basin peoples in East Asia, we're really going to focus on what is modern day China on the Yellow and Yangtze rivers there. And so it's really in this area that you're going to have these grow up. So you're going to have the rivers, the north and the south in this area, the Yellow River in the north and the Yangtze River, and that is where they're going to develop there. This is a better view of it today. And so you are going to have some population on Japan, what is modern day Korea, but nothing like you're going to have in this area yet. You're going to see there's the desert here. That's going to be hard. There's mountains. So this is going to be a relatively closed off area for a little while there, which is going to allow them to develop there. And this is, the steppe lands here. the Mongolians, who are going to come up over and over in this. But look, even then, you know, here's the Himalayas. If we went over here, this is where India is, right? You can see it over there. So it's not that far away, but you know, all the natural barriers to it. So an overview of this. This is where the future, what we know as the Chinese state, is going to originate along the Yellow River in the north and the Yangtze in the south. You are going to have two rivers, two cultures. The idea of they are going to develop different forms of sort of pottery and artwork. They're going to have maybe different religions. We're not sure. A little different food too, you know, millet or rice. But eventually, this is all going to be increasingly unified. But again, that's looking ahead. It's slower to develop than the other ones. It's localized, agrarian. There are a lack of easily domesticated animals and plants in there. It's going to take them a while to work through what they can use. It's not going to be like the other areas where they're going to have access to cattle, access to horses, and that. It's going to take a while for them to get domesticated in this area. And again, like I said, geographical barriers there. Here's one thing. This is also just a note. So the traditional Chinese origin story is of the Shah dynasty that started in 2200 BCE, Shah dynasty. This is the Chinese imperial tradition that it spread in the home base in the central plains of the Yellow River. So as we go forward, you know, all of the dynasties, all the ruling you know, families and powerful dynastic groups are going to tie themselves back to the Shah dynasty. And something that we'll get to it later called the Mandate of Heaven. Here's the thing. Even though that is the sort of traditional story, there is virtually no evidence for this dynasty ever existing. There is a belief that it was probably created as sort of a mythical, a mythical power in the past that the new dynasty is a part of. It adds it legitimacy and say they will restore things to the good old days. Again, but there is little to no evidence of this there. Most of the documentaries you find on this are from Chinese state TV today. And, you know, they do have a bias to make the Shah real. But again, there's no archaeological evidence of it. That doesn't mean it didn't exist. Maybe not. That's where all the evidence points today. Maybe we just not found it yet. Who knows? But just keep that in mind. This is the mythical founding traditional origin history of the Shah dynasty here. However, what you do find was the archaeological records say is you're not going to have these dynasties. You're going to have these smaller communities and settlements there. It starts to, you have more lakes. You do have some fertile plains, but they're a little bit smaller. And they were not united. As they say, there was a dynasty, a unified thing. What archaeological evidence shows is there's 8 distinct cultures here, right? And what do we mean by cultures? Their pottery was different. Their artwork is different. So they are, that's what we mean by a culture, their way of life. And so there was some different. There is, colder, drier weather here. And so it could be more and more difficult. The rivers aren't as, reliable as you're going to have in the Indus Valley and Egypt. But you are going to have more interactions because of the need for that there. The Mongolian steppes above it, the nomads there on horseback are going to be able to have connections and bring new technology. That's going to be a story throughout Chinese history and throughout all of human history here is the Mongolian peoples being incredibly important and connecting these different areas in long distance trade and new technology. And eventually they're going to settle on the rivers in more complex cultures, sometimes conquering them, but often and sometimes just sort of integrating with the civilization and other places they're going to conquer and then sort of go away to a degree in that. One of the first here, let's look at some of these earliest. This is the earliest evidence of more of a civilization that you have is Yangshao culture. In the Yellow River Basin, you're going to have semi-nomadic farmers, slash and burn. So they're going to be more of like I said, they're going to move in a circuit, right, in a sort of a set geographic area. There is symbols and signs. It doesn't look like an alphabet, so there's no writing, but they are definitely trying to pass on some information. Very difficult existence here. The way we can tell that, it's discussed in the book. It's the way the bones are deformed. You can tell how much they had, how much they ate. There's also evidence in the archaeological record where they that there was warfare or fighting between communities. They found in these regions, dating back almost as far as this is, entire seeming entire villages slaughtered. Right, people, you could tell they're bound at the wrists, heads cut off, thrown in wells, thrown in mass graves. So it does definitely a difficult existence. But this is the beginning of that. This is their artwork here. You can see the symbols there, the dancing figures. And this is what we mean about their culture. It's their pottery, what we could see there. And so that's the Yangshao culture there. All right, we'll pick up in the next lecture video, which will most likely, where we're going to pick up on Longsheng culture. All right, thanks.